Hello guys, this is Rito here, and today we're going to look at the Ironjawz and the Gloomspite gits, because people have been asking for these two, and so I figured I'd give them a go. I'll be quick about this as much as I can. Obviously, you know I keep rambling on, but hey, here it is. In the Ironjawz we've only got two fighter types really. We've got the Brutes and we've got the Art Boys, and each of them with different weapon options. The Brute with double weapons deals 6 points of damage, which is, for his points value, in the medium ballpark for damage. He's very tough to kill, and that's actually good for his points value. But as you can see, all of these Ironjawz fighters are in that kind of category, apart from the Art Boy boss, who's only, in quotes, in the medium kind of survivability. Anyways, Brute with double weapons, not bad at all. Again though, keep in mind, all Ironjawz only have movement 3, so you'd expect the combat values to be high because they really don't have much else going for them. Then we've got the Brute with Gore Hacker, only dealing 5 points of damage on average, but he's a bit cheaper as well, apparently, maybe. It might be the same price, I don't know. Anyways, his damage per point value is also in the medium tier. Then we've got the Brute with Gore Chopper, and he deals a whopping 7.6 damage, which is amongst the highest in the game, with some of the high tier allies you can take and so on. Obviously there's some fighters who can do 10 or more, but this is already very much up there. And that's very good damage per point value. As you can see, he's in the green tier, 0.04. Also needs 6 activations to be killed, so also tough to bring down, and good point value for his wounds. Then we've got the Brute Leader with Boss Claw and the Brute Leader with Boss Chopper. So these are two leader options. The Claw does a tiny bit less damage than the Chopper does, but in reality they are very much the same. So damage point value is equal for those, and they both need 9 activations to take down, which is insane. So that's very, very high, up there with the best. Only 0.03 in the point value, just because they are more expensive than the other fighters, of course. Then let's get into the Art Boys. We've got the Art Boy with double weapons. Dealing 4 points of damage for his point value is actually quite nice, getting him to a solid 0.04 points value. The Art Boys are a little less tough than the Brutes are, but they cost less points as well, so I still think 3 activations is good to be killed, is good survivability for the points. Then we've got the Art Boy with Shield. He's a very different story. He does take 4 activations to be killed, so a bit more survivable there. But he's more expensive, so same kind of point value ballpark, and his damage is just worse. And being more expensive and doing less damage than the guy with double weapons, I feel like this might not be worth bringing. That's something I say about most fighters with shields, actually. Anyways, we've got the Art Boy with Chopper, so the double weapon. Or the great weapon, really, is what it is. About the same damage the Art Boy with double weapon does. Obviously, it depends on how tough the opponent is, because the Chopper has 1 less attack, but higher strength. So if this opponent was to be toughness 6, for example, then the double weapons would do better. Just because in that case both of them are hitting on 5, so the one with more attacks would do better. But toughness 6 opponents are very rare, so I think you can go for either of these and do pretty well. Again, same damage per point value, also very good. Activations to be killed at 3 is still nice. Then we've got the Art Boy boss, who does the same amount of damage a Brute Leader does, at 7.4, which is just great for the points value. Against 0.04 in points value, 5 activations to take him down, so even more than the Art Boy with Shield. However, as he is more points, that is actually the worst survivability for the points value. Anyways, still not bad. Like medium is still quite okay. Right. So yeah, all in all, very slow, but as you can see, hitting very hard and very tough to bring down as well, these guys. Then we've got the Gloomspite gits. And right away you'll notice there's a lot more yellow and red in this one. So in terms of combat prowess, some of these models will be a bit worse. But let's have a closer look at them. The Stabber, dealing 2 damage per activation for a relatively cheap model, is actually like in the medium point value, so not too bad. 2 activations to be killed. Again, it's kind of medium, it's average, what you'd expect. However, yeah, if you need to get in there with this guy, and your opponent has 2 activations and 2 actions really, he'll kill him straight away. So I don't know if he's that good. In this case, I'd actually go for the Stabber with Spear probably, although he's more expensive and his damage is worse. So he comes out at a worse damage per point value. But he also needs 2 activations to be killed, and if you can keep out of opponent's range, that means they have to waste one of their actions to move in and the second to kill them. So, sorry, to attack them. So the opponent will only have 1 action to attack them, so they might survive for an extra round as opposed to the normal Stabber. Then you've got the Netter. The Netter does the most pitiful damage out of most of the warband, but he's also super cheap at 45 points, very cheap model. Sorry, 0.03 still, like in the medium damage tier, if you're looking at his points. Will be killed in 1 activation by anything, so it's not surprising that he will for his points, but still you'd want to keep him away from enemies and basically use him what he's for, which is his net ability. So for just a double, you can stick fighters in place. So you can roll a 3-up, and on a 3-up, an opponent fighter cannot make a move. I've seen games where this has changed the entire game. Like if you can use this ability against an 150 point, 200 point model out of any warband, pick the strongest fighter you can reach, give him the net, and they are just taken out of the fight for the entire battle round. So lately I've had a game where someone used the Netter to lock down one of the Slanesh Fiends, and that's like a 200 point model that was locked down for 3 entire turns in a row by the Netter, so not being able to produce any point value there. The Netter, amazing model. Then we've got the Stabber leader. He does very good damage for his points value. He's quite cheap, and dealing 5.4 damage is actually nice. Only 3 activations to kill him, obviously, is to be expected for his low points, but yeah, I guess if you are going to go with an all-grot list or something, he might not be bad. Then we've got the Shooter. The Shooter is only dealing 1.4 damage, but he's dealing it at 12-inch range. So this is a 0.02, which is in the lower kind of damage per point value, but it's actually pretty average for ranged guys. So most ranged fighters will do less damage. I've seen these guys poke down like chaff models and stuff from afar pretty reliably. Like I don't dislike the Shooters at all. If you bring quite a few of them, they can do some serious damage. Obviously, you do not want them to get into melee combat because they will die super quickly. Then we've got the Squig, and the Squig might be one of the coolest models in the range just because they are 140 points, which isn't that expensive, but they deal 6.7 damage per activation, which for the point cost, as you can see, is very good. This is in top tier damage. there's not that many fighters who get this kind of damage, so really cool there. Only a 4-inch move though, so he's a bit slower. However, pair him up with the Squig Herder and you can get another move or attacked action with the Squig. No, I think it's a move, right? Yeah. So the Squig Herder can basically make the Squig move again, which then kind of compensates for the lower movement. 3 activations to be taken down is average for his points value, so yeah, he's not bad. He is actually not bad. Then we've got the Squig Herder. He only deals 1.5 damage per activation, just like the Netter does, so yeah, you're not bringing him for his damage output, you're bringing him for his ability, which is, as I said, to make the Squigs move faster. And I think in that role he's not bad. He's pretty cheap as well, I think he's only 45 points as well, so yeah, why not go for a couple of these guys. Then we've got the Squig Hoppers. So the Squig Hoppers and the Boingrods, they are very cool because they can fly and they have high mobility. I think the Squig Hoppers have 10 movement and the Boingrods have 8. And both of them can fly. So the reason these don't look great in terms of their point value is because you're paying obviously some points just for movement. However, the Squig Hopper does the same amount of damage the Squig does, which again 6.7 is nothing to sneeze at all. Very good damage. He only needs 3 activations to be killed, and that's also the same as the Squig. But being more expensive than the Squig, this puts actually this model down to 0.01 in point value, which is not great for his survivability. So you've really got to watch out for him not dying too quickly. However, I like him to get in there, do a lot of damage quickly, and grab objectives and so on. Then we've got the Squig Hopper boss. 8.4 damage, that's the highest in the warband. I think he gets an extra attack over the normal Squig Hopper, so very high damage. Again, he's more expensive, of course, so therefore his damage per point value is only average. But he needs 4 activations to be killed, so a bit tougher than the normal Squig, and that puts him in a medium range of point value per survivability. The Boingrods are 2-inch ranged, so they get to stick outside of combat for a while. They have 1 point of higher toughness, however their damage is lower. So as you can see, comparing the Boingrod to the Squig Hopper, his damage is lower. Also the movement is a bit lower and the point value is higher, so he costs some extra points. Yeah, so he's still in an okay damage per point value region, but again, just not as good as the Squig Hopper. Takes 4 activations to be killed, which is nice, so you're getting a bit more for your point value there in terms of survivability, especially with that 2-inch range you can keep out of combat for a while. Then you've got the Boingrod boss, 7.4 damage per activation, very good again, almost as good as the Squig Hopper boss. So I do like the Boingrod Bounder boss, again 2-inch range, medium damage for the points, and 6 activations to be killed. So this is the only fighter that is actually durable in this warband. And yeah, I like him. I think the Gloomspite Gits, they have a lot of tools at their disposal. The Netters are good, the Shooters are good, the Squigs are good. So that's just a lot of very good models. You've got all the things you could want. You have mobility, you have damage, you have ranged attacks, you have like battlefield control with the nets. Yeah, great warband. So if I had to choose a favorite between the Ironjawz and the Gloomspites, it'd definitely be the Gloomspites because they are quite a bit better. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Please let me know what you'd like to see next, and see you in the next one.